Hello and welcome back. Today we've got the new BM Hobby FLD S13. So this is the new BM Hobby BMRX FLD-S13, which came out a little bit under the radar. We had some teaser images last year, then all of a sudden it started to appear on sellers' websites. Last year we had the BMRX FLD AE86, which is a bit of a revolution to the ready-to-run RC drift scene because it actually drifted. We're going to have a look at the box, and if you buy the new one, what you're going to get. Again, I paid for this. This is about $150 at the moment. So let's have a look at the box first, actually. So there we go. We've got the car in it there on the top of the box. So it's all to do. It's sort of got a license. The guy from BM Hobby knows the guy from FR Legends, which for those of you that don't know, is a mobile app or mobile drifting game that you can play on your phone. Because they know each other, they come to a deal and it allows them to use the FR Legends name and also the style of the car that you get in the game. There's the bottom of the box. We've got a new style of car, which is the S13. It's not licensed, it's not officially licensed by Nissan, so it's just an S13 on here. Quick release bumpers, which we got on the AE86, and there's some more body panels there. This looks like we've got a servo saver, some links or drive shafts, standard configuration with different lengths of drive shafts. So I presume that's so you can extend your width, and then you can do racing mode or drift mode, because it should have the knuckles to allow you to do that. So let's get inside. As always with my unboxing, I haven't untaped this. So it's got nice FR Legends or BM Racing bit of tape there. They've had their tape printed this year. Last year I got a pre-production one, so I didn't actually get what you get in what actually started to come in the actual boxes. But this one is a production one. As always, thanks GT55 for sending it out so quickly. So it's in its clamshell. I'm not 100% convinced on the clamshell because it's a lot of plastic, but there we go. So if we take that off, we've got the car inside. So there's the car. In its cartoon style. What I have noticed, and I did notice in the pictures, we have no longer got our little bobblehead, which I like. So we've got blacked out windows basically instead this year. So this is a bit more expensive. Where should we put that so it's in shot? Let's put it there. Then we've got the dummy chassis again with some grip tyres in there. So this is what I think BM Hobby get the body shells on, and then they put it onto the actual remote control car. Next bag. It's got some bumpers, some different bumpers. Oh, I'll get the bag open. Different bumpers, side skirts, and there's another bit of plastic, which I think I know what that is. So we've got some side skirts, I think they are. Let's have a look, see what they do. Got some little magnets on. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Front rear bumper. Front bumper. Another side skirt, or two. Oh, they're the side skirts there. And then I think this little bit you can glue on to the top, right there. Then the next level, so we've got the instructions. It's like a pamphlet again. That tells you what you get. So you get screwdriver, some Allen keys, nut driver, how to drive, fast, slow, fast, with the character from FR Legends, exploded diagram, which is always handy, and then some battery compartments. Now, unlike last year's one, you can only buy this with a battery. This has got at least they've not taped those two bits together. So this is where the changes start at this level. So last year we had a Dumbo transmitter and receiver, but this year we've got a FlySky, I believe it is. So they've changed the electronics. Now, I don't know why that is. I have actually asked the question, but they haven't got back to me. If I get an answer, I'll put in the description below. Then we've got some other tyres. They're not tyres, Stu, they're wheels. So we've got some other wheels, so you can switch your wheels over. Then we've got the battery charger and some sprues. So these are the drive shafts. These are the additional drive shafts, which are plastic. So I think they're so you can change the width of the car if you want to do that. And then the last bag, we've got a nut driver, which I missed on my last one. These are really handy because they go into the center of the wheels, unlike the big T-bar that you get. Then we've got the knuckles in there. So they're to change it to road use if you want to do some grip driving, and then 2 little Allen keys. So we actually get more tools than we did last year. So let's have a quick look at the body panels. I'm trying off screen not to destroy the place. That's the rear bumper, Stu. So that's the front bumper. Slots on, so we've got like now body kit front bumper. Because in the game you can upgrade the cars, and then when you crash in the game, so that's actually got the like body panel lines underneath. When you crash in the game, those bits fall off and all sorts of different things. And then these are the side skirts. I don't know which way around they go. That's probably the other way around. So let's put that on the other side. Rear wing. Oops, it's fell off. Something's fell off. Rear wing. So if you do hit anything, these wheels just sort of pop off. There we go, that one. And then I think the little white bit is a bit that you can stick on the top, just up there. So there's the car with its body kit on. So let's see what we've got underneath. So it's the same as before. Let's take those bits off because it's going to cause us a bit of trouble getting the body shell off. So you pull the sides apart, and it's got the tongue at the front, which you just lift out. So again, we should be able to put mini Z bodies on it. So there we are. It's all BM Hobby branded this year. So we've got BM Hobby branded little motor in there. And then we've got the new receiver, or 3-in-1 or 4-in-1 or whatever it is, 3-in-1, isn't it? ESC receiver gyro. There we go. That's 3 things, Stu. You've done that well. Now I've changed position because I had a little bit of a panic there that it didn't have a battery in it, but I was being thick. It's actually in the battery holder, which is exactly the place you'd find it. So there's your little battery. Let's get it the right way up to the camera, Stu. So there's the battery that you get. And it's the BM Hobby 2-cell LiPo. They're a lot nicer actually. There's a bit more metal. It looks like there's a bit more metal on the car this year. So there's the new 3-in-1 as we were talking about. So the community thinks this is a FlySky. I couldn't find it on FlySky's website because I was looking to see what the protocol was on it. We've got metal turnbuckles, which is an improvement from last year. So we can adjust the rear toe. It's a little bit stiff on the back, that back wheel. That one's a little bit better. So we can actually adjust the toe in and toe out on that, and it's got metal ball joints as well. Servo looks like it's the new upgraded one from last year, because you can just see it's got the label on the back now. It's got a servo saver. With the old servo last year, that's one thing you couldn't do. You couldn't actually turn the wheels. They've given you different length drive shafts, but you can't actually adjust the width of the car as stock. So you'd have to get the metal. There's an upgrade part, front and rear, that you can get so you can extend and reduce the track. So you can't do that out of the box. And as last year, it's got the same on the bottom, where you can adjust the length to suit it to different Mini Z bodies if you want to do that. So I think what we do, as always, get a battery charged and get it running. And have a look to see if it's better, worse, or the same as last year's.
A few minutes later.
So we've got the battery charge. You can see it's on behind you, because I just wanted to show you a couple of things with this. So when you plug it in, a blue light comes on. It's got to be solid. If it's flashing, it's not charging. So the instructions actually say to unplug this and put it back in again. I actually had to change the power brick, because the power brick that I had, obviously it didn't like the power brick or the power it was being delivered. Also, it is USB-C, so you will need a USB cable to plug into that. So that's the battery, that's charged. When the blue light goes off, the battery's charged. If it's flashing, it's not charging as I thought it was, so it's taken me a little while to do that. So we can get the battery in there. Now you might think they've been breeding, because there's another one out. So this is the car from last year, and I just got it out because while the battery was charging, I thought what I'll do is I'll just check the wheel nuts aren't too tight. So on the front, we've got a wheel nut. So it's the same front knuckle as last year. On the rear, we have a hex head bolt. And that's because, and that's why I got the other car out to have a look, it's got a plastic drive cup. and a plastic drive shaft, as we saw earlier with the spares, whereas on last year's car, it was a metal drive shaft and a metal drive pin that you bolt to. Another thing I noticed is that this might be boring for those of you who just bring this out of the box, but I was just noticing the differences. If you can see, the front sort of shock towers on that are silver, and on this they're sort of a brassy colour, and they're not as smooth. So that's last year's car. I don't know if you can hear this. I'll get a bit closer. It doesn't even sound as smooth. But on a positive note, it's got, I don't know if you're going to see that, it's got foam tape underneath the 3-in-1 to take the shock out of it. Like I was saying, is a nice little mod, and I've done it on this one with some thinner tape under there because it takes the shock out. This one was really sensitive. We'll see how this one is in a minute. Anyway, so plug the, no, let's do it right. So the transmitter takes 4 AAAs, quite a lot. So we've got steering dual rate, steering trim, throttle dual rate, and servo gain, steering reverse, throttle reverse, channel 3, channel 4 button, which I presume is going to be all for the lights in the end. And then we've got the dip switches, and they do show on the instructions they're all set to off. So let's get the battery plugged in. It's quite tight, it's a tight little plug there. So it's flashing. That should stop if it's like the other one. Let's have a go at turning the radio on. It does tell you to turn the transmitter on first. No, it's immediately bound. So there we go. So we've got the same steering as last year. I think the motor's the same. It's just got a BM Hobby sticker on it, I think. Very chittery as we got last year. So I'm going to turn the throttle gain, because it's come with the gyro game all the way up. Let's turn that back down. So that's off. We would know. Fully clockwise is off. And then as we turn it anti-clockwise, it turns up. So again, I'm just going to show this. If when you're doing anything drift and you've got a gyro on, the correct way for a gyro is, I'll turn it up a bit so you can see it. The correct way for a gyro is it steers into the slide, something like that. So that's the correct way. If it's steering the other way, it's backwards. So I think I've bored you long enough. Let's get on the kitchen floor. Now that was really interesting, and you can see I've got the AE86 out, and that's because I ended up going backwards and forwards with them a little bit, just to check I wasn't going a bit mad. Now the first thing you notice when you get them together is the shrinkflation that's gone on. So the transmitters have shrunk, so we've got the new one which has shrunk, and the old Dumbo one. I prefer this one. It feels a bit better in the hand than the smaller one, to be brutally honest. I know we can't do anything about that because they are swapping over to the new electronics, but also the cars, the body shells themselves, and I don't know how easy it is to see from that this one is quite a lot smaller than the AE86 in height. The wheelbase is a bit shorter, so I don't know why they've done that and didn't keep them the same scale. Is that a cost thing as well, to make it a little bit cheaper to produce? I don't know. But the other thing with the driving and the bigger, heavier body shell is the AE86, I think, is easier to drive out of the box without any practice. This one takes a little bit of getting used to, because I think it's the weight. There's not much in it between the electronics with the gyro and everything. I think it's the weight, that this one's a bit more lazy on the front end, which then makes it easier to drive. This one's very pointy on the front end and it immediately snatches into the corner. So it's a little bit of a different driving style on this one, but it's still very good. Don't get me wrong, it's still a very good car. I'm just going to point out, I did it in the video, I've left in the sound. And that's because a lot of people are saying about the motors keep burning out. Now, when I'm driving these, I'm using, I'll just show you on this one, I'm using that much throttle. And actually on the new transmitter, I turned the dual rate down a little bit. I was sort of halfway on the dual rate. So it wasn't, I haven't got full throttle anyway. And then I still was, and then when you change direction, you give it a bit more throttle. So you're not using all throttle all the time. Body panels on this, you've got to take the side skirts off to get the body on and off, because they fall off anyway, and the rear wing you'll end up knocking off. I prefer the classic bumpers rather than the modified bumpers. One other little thing before I go, because this video has gone on far too long. I normally like keeping my videos nice and short, and this one's turned into an epic. It's probably going to be 20 minutes. With the battery plug, with the battery connector on this, it's got two connectors. And then on the battery itself, you can't see it on this one, there's two little nubs at each side of the main center pit. And what they do is, these have all come from computers, is they lock in to those two little grooves, so you can't pull the plug back out. So what I've done, and it's really tight anyway, what I've done with my hobby knife is I've just taken those two nubs off, and that makes the plug easier to get in and out. That's a SCX30 trick that everybody's doing on the SCX30, so you don't pull your cables out of your plug. So that's a good little tip just to make that a bit easier. So I think this video has gone on far too long, so we'll leave it there. Thank you if you've got this far for watching, and do come back for some more small scale RC very soon.